Will you have negative feedback from a team if you show up and don't like to drink? Really good question. And I would say probably 5+ years ago, your chances of getting negative feedback or getting shit on or getting made fun of for not drinking were much higher when you show up to SF. For some teams, not every team. The thing about SF in general is it's a very pro-drinking community. A lot of people like to work hard and they like to play hard. Very, very type A individuals. And type A individuals are really high strung, really high stress, go, go, go. And sometimes I've been there myself up until 3 years ago when I stopped drinking. But when you're going all the time, you're working super hard, you're super focused, you're super dialed in, you're super high energy, and you want to crush, sometimes it can be hard to naturally, without booze, settle down and relax. And guys just like to have fun. They like to go and let loose a little bit, which I totally get. I was one of them for a long time. So some teams are like that. Like a lot of guys on the team will be like that. Other teams, not so much. Other teams kind of 50-50, split in the middle. And if you go to a team that's like really, really into partying, you might get a little bit of shit for not drinking and not partaking, but it's probably not going to be legit actual stuff to take personally. It's probably just going to be like, oh, you're too good for that. You're too healthy. You're too into your health. I would much rather get made fun of for being into my health and fitness and well-being and performance and all those things than drink because someone tells me that I'm a loser for being into those things, if that makes sense. So generally what I recommend is if you're not into drinking and somebody asks you like, why don't you drink? Or what are your thoughts on like maybe potentially me quitting drinking or how'd you do it? Something like that. Absolutely. Share your story, share what your thoughts are. But also if no one asks, your best bet, especially as a new guy, is to just stick to your guns and not try to push your narrative on other people, because that's when things get annoying and that's when people start getting upset. Oftentimes it's because they feel bad about the fact that they still drink and they don't have the discipline to potentially stop drinking if they're interested in that. But a lot of people will say they're not interested in stopping drinking, but deep down they know that they'd be way better off if they did. I was like that for a really, really long time. I'm only saying that because of its personal experience until I finally stopped and realized like, wow, it's actually way better not to drink. And I should have done this a long time ago. But anyway, wouldn't worry too much about it. Just be confident. Don't try and be like, don't go in and feel almost have like this presence or this attitude towards it that like it's a bad thing that you don't drink and you kind of feel almost guilty about telling people that you don't drink. Just be like, no, I don't drink. Thanks. Appreciate it. And go from there. And as a new guy, I would say, even if you do really value your sleep and your well-being and your consistency with that stuff, when you're on trips, deployments, training, whatever it is, and guys are going out and having fun, offering to be the DD, I'm not saying you have to do this, but offering to go and like be the adult and be the DD could be a good look as a new guy, even if you don't like staying up super late and you don't like herding cats, which is what you're going to pretty much have to do. But A, you're kind of looking out for the guys. And B, you're also not only showing up and saying, I don't drink, but you're also showing up and saying, I don't even want to hang out with you guys or go out with you guys or have fun at all. And of course, would that be more optimal as far as physical performance and health and well-being? Yeah, probably. But relationships, especially with the guys that you're going to be working with, and community and bonding with them, especially as a new guy, is probably more important, more beneficial than the potential health that you're missing out on by doing that occasionally. So that's my recommendation. And if someone really, really gives you shit, what I usually like to do is hit them with I personally would rather not willingly ingest a toxic substance that disrupts my sleep, makes me a worse decision maker, interferes with my recovery and my performance from fitness, interferes with my performance actually on the job, shooting, moving, communicating, medicating, messes my mental health up, is a bunch of empty calories, makes me feel terrible the next day, and is going to ultimately shorten my potential lifespan. I would just prefer not to do that. So you are welcome to do that if you want, but I am not going to do that. And usually, although that might ruffle some feathers and piss someone off, and I would not recommend going straight to that, If it comes to that, usually be like, oh, okay, yeah, he's kind of got a point there, because you can't argue any of those things. Those are all facts. They're not even opinions. They're facts, scientifically proven facts. And if anyone's drank and experienced it, you probably can understand why those are all facts. It's not like you drink and you feel amazing forever and you just feel like you're super healthy and you're making all these good decisions. Just not the case. So anyway, that's my take on this situation. And as someone who used to drink a lot and then stopped, there were a few guys who came to our team that really didn't like drinking at all, and that was fine. Not a big deal. They didn't push their narrative on anyone. They offered to help out. They offered to drive, and not every single time. Like when I stopped drinking, I wasn't staying out. I was a kind of a senior guy on the team, so I wasn't, no way I was staying out till 2 a.m. and just staying awake sober and messing up my next day, even though I wouldn't be hungover. Still, like, for me, I tried to go to bed and wake up at the same time whenever possible, and staying out till 2 was just out of the equation. But when you're a new guy, maybe a sacrifice that's worth making. So best of luck and stick to your guns.